Hey guys, it's Jen. I'm recording a presentation on basically a summary of Chapter 5 from Disruptive Classroom Technology, and this is going to be for final review of our exam in ETEC 570 with Dr. Ali Rezai.
When there's a problem to solve now, what do you say? You say, I wonder what if, let's try.
Sesame Street song. It captures the theme of the chapter, if not the book. This mind to problem solving, and the chapter 5 is broken down into two sections, one for inquiry design and one for social entrepreneurship. Both of these fit into the transcendent category of the T3 framework, which is a continuum that represents an increasing value add of technology by framing the use of educational technologies in our classrooms into three distinct stages of use. Translational and transformational were the ones that came before this one in chapter 5. And I was trying to think about what does he mean by transcendent? Because transcendentalism, we know the main tenets of that are individualism, search for truth, freedom, and self-reliance. But how well those fit with the tenets of this framework, I'm not sure. But anyways, Emerson did say that nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm, and the author of our book does focus on passion as a main driver for, transcendent technology use. But let's dive in. So, inquiry design is the first of two major sections of this, and then it's broken down into three from there. So the T3 framework, inquiry design, the first tenet of that is that students use tech to investigate a wicked real life problem that matters to them. And not to get caught up on language, but I am an English teacher. And why is he using the word wicked? I just have to imagine that he's British. So first, T311, using technology to investigate, keyword investigate. He has in the chapters what I found the most useful, which is why I'm highlighting them in this presentation. Things like sentence starters, graphic organizers, guiding questions. So the first one in chapter 5 is how can we, and then a blank description of a basic problem task to resolve. So for example, how can we unban books would be a good one for ban book week this week. In such a way that blank lists the attributes or conditions that must be considered. So I would say, how can we unban books in such a way that nobody's feelings are hurt or something? Because I won't go into it actually. Let's just move on with the presentation. So T3 1-2, students use technology to design original inquiry and generate resolutions. So we have the main ideas of students are designing, they're using technology, and we're going to come up with some resolutions. And this portion of the chapter reminded me a lot of, well, probably because I'm taking a research course that it reminded me a lot of conducting research. That there's outlines like, you have to start with prior knowledge, you have to look at the pre-existing knowledge that others have, and then he talks a little bit about how to check for valid sources, like the table there, knowledge review guide. What is the problem? What is the problem statement? What is known about the problem? What do we still need to know about the problem? Okay, so you're checking yourself. If you're a student, you're checking yourself and you're refining your problem statement. If you're doing research, you're narrowing your topic, essentially. then the T3 1-3, the last part of that first section is students communicate, defend, and iterate their unique knowledge contribution. Yeah, probably I would look to highlight the communicate, defend, and iterate. Basically, you have to be able to present your findings in a way that it's uh, that you're being convincing and inspiring is what I'm trying to say, and part of that is going to be the credibility of your site, of your citations, sources that you're citing. Wow. Okay. And then his last point is about that students should organize and digitize and present their findings. And then he says that that word stakeholders, which is really where I'm starting to go, wait, I thought we were being like for the good of the planet and human beings. But we're using a term like stakeholders, which is, again, usually seen in the profit sector. So anyways, students should be able to identify stakeholders to whom their findings are highly relevant is true. You want to make sure that your audience matches up with the content that you're trying to give to them. Instructional design elements are here. You see it in the guiding questions, ending that first section. What is the problem and why is it important? What did we hope would happen? What did happen? What were the strengths of our investigations? This is like a SWOT analysis, basically. It's like we're just engaging in the process of improvement for ourselves or with our students. And then there's the whole terminology of social entrepreneurship, which an entrepreneur plus the society aspect of it smashed together, and we have a person who tries to solve social problems using entrepreneurial skills. That was a new concept to me. Take us into the second portion of chapter 5, which is social entrepreneurship. Little section of that is that students imagine, design, and create new tools or platforms to solve wicked problems that matter. Is it like wicked awesome, like wicked evil, or just like wicked big? I don't know. So this whole section argues for students' capacities for design, logic, and programmatic thinking in coding, and it sees coding as organizational, expressive, and communicative literacy. So there's the first section's guiding questions. What is your problem statement? What is the solution you're developing? How will this solution add value? What obstacles might impede your progress? What are the indicators you will use to measure success? And it's funny because he like introduces this section by making this little joke about how maker space shouldn't be a faker space. And he's making the argument that, or what would define it as a faker space, I guess, would be that you're not tinkering with intention, which is like really just, well, first of all, it's nonsense because a lot of I think the I think the a lot of the historical revolutionary type inventions, some of our greatest innovations have come from people tinkering basically with no outcome or particular outcome in mind. Like they're not sitting down with a problem statement and a solution in mind that they're trying to develop. I think if you keep all of these guiding questions in the forefront of your mind while you're in a makerspace, that you're not going to be happy with your success. That I don't know. It's very counterintuitive to me as a person who runs a neighborhood makerspace, who is a creator. Um, Most of the time, that maybe I have a theme in mind or a tone, or like I'm working through some feeling, but I definitely am not sitting down and like answering guiding questions to measure my progress, right? So, anyways, that's one criticism I have of this portion, or two, I guess, by now. T32-2 students beta test, iterate, and generate robust versions of their digital solutions. Most useful thing from that section I found was this list of um, like digital tools that are open-ended programming tools and environments, which again it goes counter to that whole little makerspace comment that he made in the beginning. But I guess I don't know. I'm not gonna say anything else about it. And then there's free app building tools. So yeah, definitely technology. Um, uh, or software platforms where you can just explore and create and learn. Lists of those types of resources I find tremendously useful myself. In T32-3, students scale the implementation of their robust digital solutions. So yeah, that word solutions is becoming less about I have a problem that I need to solve, and more about a sales pitch, more clearly, more accentuated. Uh, but anyways, the framing tool is what are the digital tools that your students use for social entrepreneurship? So you're doing some self-reflection here, listing their tools, sharing that list. What are the tasks to which students apply those tools? Maybe you're reflecting on if the tools they're using are best for their tasks, or if there's more effective tools they could be using, or uh, more relevant tools they could be using. How does the use of those tools add value? And again, the main highlight of the two sections in this chapter, and perhaps the book, is that value be determined by people. That 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 people are more important than profit. That the planet is more important than profit, uh, which is not making sense to the terminology he's using. But number four there is, what other social entrepreneurship tasks do you think might be enhanced by digital tools? I wouldn't even know what to say about that because I have no idea about entrepreneurship. I'm very good at saying the word entrepreneurship. But yeah, so that. That was chapter 5, inquiry design and social entrepreneurship. Main points, the needs it's addressing for us as readers, as teachers, as students, and people with interests. Through the processes of real life troubleshooting, students use educational technologies to keep themselves passionately engaged in learning. And while they do that while building collaborative networks based on shared interests and common problems, which is all truth, I think. We can all agree on that. To recap the overall thing, thus the two steps in the transcendent stage of educational technology are T31, inquiry design, and T32, social entrepreneurship. These two levels reflect ways students can leverage readily available technologies not only to become their own knowledge cartographers, but to contribute something of value for the benefit of the planet and its people. This is the highest form of value added by educational technology.